There are two types of men when it comes to dealing with disrespect: the aggressor and the doormat. The aggressor, fueled by pride, lashes out, believing respect is something that can only be taken, never given. He sees a slight insult as an unforgivable offense, an attack on his very existence. His rage blinds him, making him a slave to his emotions. One moment he's standing tall, the next he's behind bars, paying for his split-second decision with years of regret. Then there's the doormat. He smiles through clenched teeth, laughs off blatant disrespect, and tells himself that being above it makes him strong. But deep down, resentment festers like an infection. Over time, he loses confidence. People walk all over him, and worse. He starts believing he deserves the disrespect. His silence robs him of dignity, making him a ghost of the man he could have been. So what's the middle ground? The answer lies in an ancient philosophy that has been battle-tested for over 2,000 years: Stoicism. The great Roman emperor Marcus Aurelius ruled over an empire of 60 million people. Every day he faced traitors, liars, and power-hungry manipulators. Yet he maintained control over himself and others by practicing one fundamental truth: your response to disrespect defines your power. Let's break down the 8 Stoic principles to handle disrespect with strength, wisdom, and composure. The first Stoic principle is the power of emotional control, mastering yourself before the world can control you. There's a hidden force that determines who truly holds power in any situation: emotional control. Most people believe that strength is about reacting, proving yourself, or dominating others. But the truth is, the strongest man in the room is the one who is least affected by his emotions. Most people misunderstand self-control. They think it means suppressing emotions, pretending not to feel anything, or being passive. But in reality, true emotional control is about mastering how and when you respond. It means choosing your reaction, rather than being controlled by impulse. A man who controls his emotions controls everything. In fact, the brain takes just 90 seconds to process an emotional reaction. After that, any anger, frustration, or fear you feel is not because of the event itself. It's because you are mentally replaying it over and over in your head. That means you have the power to break the cycle. This is why elite military units like Navy SEALs train to control their heart rate and breathing under pressure. They know that the moment they lose control of themselves, they lose control of the battle. Take Michael Jordan. He was constantly taunted by opponents trying to throw him off his game, but he never reacted emotionally. Instead, he used their words as fuel to focus even more. He didn't let them control him. He turned their disrespect into motivation. His mindset? You can talk all you want. I'll let my performance respond for me. The best way to practice emotion control is to pause before reacting. When someone disrespects you, your first instinct will be to react emotionally. Resist that urge. Take a breath and remind yourself that staying calm is a power move. Use silence as a response. If someone insults you, the most powerful thing you can do is smile and say nothing. Your lack of reaction tells them they hold no power over you. Turn emotions into strategy. Instead of getting angry, ask yourself, how can I use this situation to my advantage? Emotional control doesn't mean ignoring disrespect. It means handling it on your terms. When you master emotional control, no insult, no disrespect, and no situation will ever shake you. Disrespect only wins when it triggers a reaction. Stay calm, stay composed, and let your presence do the talking. The second Stoic principle is the power of boundaries. Respect is earned by what you allow. There's an invisible force that determines how people treat you. Your boundaries. Most people assume respect is automatic, that others should just know how to behave. But the truth is, you teach people how to treat you by what you tolerate. Most people misunderstand boundaries. They think setting boundaries means being aggressive, confrontational, or rude. But in reality, boundaries are not about controlling others. They're about controlling yourself. They are a silent but powerful message. I respect myself, and I expect the same from you. Studies on dominance hierarchies in nature show that the most respected animals in a pack are not the loudest or the most aggressive. They are the ones that command space with presence alone. Wolves don't bark at every threat. They only act when necessary. The same applies to humans. Those who set clear, calm, and firm boundaries are respected without ever needing to raise their voice. Take Denzel Washington, for example. Known for his unwavering confidence, he has a personal rule. He doesn't tolerate negativity in his space. If someone is being disrespectful, he doesn't argue. He doesn't fight. He simply removes himself from the situation. His message is clear. If you want to be in my presence, bring respect. If not, I have no space for you. The best way to start to building boundaries is to understand that respect starts with you. If you don't respect yourself, no one else will. Walk, talk, and carry yourself with confidence. Keep the promises you make to yourself. Before you even open your mouth, people will know where you stand. Address disrespect instantly. If someone crosses your boundary, don't let it slide. Calmly say, I don't tolerate that. The key? No emotion, no anger, just certainty. Don't fight for respect. Expect it. The most powerful boundaries are silent ones. If someone refuses to respect you, simply remove yourself from their presence. Let them feel the weight of your absence. When you master boundaries, disrespect becomes rare because people know you won't entertain it. Disrespect only continues when it's tolerated. Set the line, stand firm, and watch how the world adjusts to you. The third Stoic principle is the power of self-reflection. Are you the cause of your own disrespect? There's a rare skill that only the strongest individuals develop, the ability to turn inward before pointing outward. Most people, when disrespected, instantly blame others. They assume the insult was unfair, the situation was undeserved, and they are the victim. But the truth is, sometimes the disrespect we face is a reflection of our own actions. Most people misunderstand self-reflection. They think it means blaming themselves for everything or being overly critical. But in reality, it's a tool for growth. It means having the courage to ask, did I play a role in this? Did my words, tone, or actions invite this reaction? The strongest men in history always questioned themselves first before holding others accountable. A Harvard Business Review study found that the highest performing leaders all shared one common trait: radical self-awareness. They constantly analyzed their own behavior, corrected their mistakes, and improved. The weakest leaders, they blamed external factors for everything. One group evolved, the other stayed stuck. Take Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor. He wrote daily about his own flaws, constantly questioning his actions. Instead of assuming that every insult was unjustified, he asked himself, what can I learn from this? This mindset allowed him to grow stronger instead of becoming bitter. Practices that you can do to improve your self-reflection is when someone disrespects you, pause and ask, did I contribute to this? Did you speak arrogantly? Interrupt? Act disrespectfully first? Be honest with yourself. Seek truth, not comfort. If there's a lesson to be learned, learn it. Don't let ego block your growth. If the disrespect was undeserved, move on. But if you find truth in it, use it to become better. When you master self-reflection, you stop being reactive and start being intentional. Instead of letting disrespect weaken you, you turn it into fuel for self-improvement. Disrespect only holds power when it blinds you. Turn inward, and you turn every insult into an opportunity for growth. Principle number 4 is the power of perspective. Not all opinions deserve your attention. There's an underrated skill that only the mentally strongest people possess: the ability to decide which opinions matter and which ones are just noise. Most people spend their lives reacting to every insult, every criticism, and every disrespectful remark as if each one holds the same weight. But the truth is, most opinions don't deserve your energy. Most people misunderstand perspective. They think ignoring someone's words means weakness, but in reality, choosing which voices influence you is a form of control. A lion does not concern itself with the opinions of sheep, because a lion knows its own worth. Studies show that your brain processes negative feedback faster and more intensely than positive feedback. This is called the negativity bias. That means a single insult can feel stronger than 10 compliments. But elite performers, Olympic athletes, special forces soldiers, and world-class CEOs train their minds to filter out useless negativity. They ask a simple question: does this opinion help me improve? If not, they discard it immediately. Or consider the Roman general Julius Caesar. At the height of his power, his rivals spread endless rumors about him, accusing him of everything from weakness to corruption. His response? Silence. He never defended himself, never addressed the lies. Instead, he conquered Rome, proving that actions always outweigh words. So the next time someone is speaking negatively to you, ask yourself, would I take advice from this person? If the answer is no, why take their insults seriously? Don't fight every battle. If a king responds to every peasant's insult, he lowers himself to their level. Stay above it. Let your success speak for you. Don't argue, don't defend, win in silence. The best response to disrespect is a life that makes their words irrelevant. When you master perspective, you become untouchable, because no one's opinion can shake what you already know about yourself. Disrespect only has power if you give it value. Choose what matters, and let the rest disappear. The fifth principle is the power of acceptance, owning reality so it can no longer own you. There's an unshakable strength that only a rare few possess, the ability to accept reality without resistance. Most people believe that life should be fair, that they should be treated with respect, and that the world should operate by their rules. But the truth is, the world doesn't care about what you think is fair. And the sooner you accept this, the sooner you become truly free. Most people misunderstand acceptance. They think it means giving up, tolerating mistreatment, or being passive. But in reality, acceptance is the highest form of strength. It means understanding what you can control and what you can't, and refusing to waste energy, fighting what is unchangeable. Research in high-performance psychology has shown that elite athletes, Navy SEALs, and Fortune 500 CEOs all share a common mindset. They never dwell on things they can't control. Instead, they instantly accept setbacks, recalibrate, and move forward. This ability to adapt to reality rather than resist it is what separates the mentally strong from the weak. For example, consider Kobe Bryant, one of the most relentless competitors in history. When he tore his Achilles tendon in 2013, he could have complained about bad luck. Instead, he immediately accepted his reality. He didn't blame anyone. He didn't waste time feeling sorry for himself. He just stood up, shot his free throws, and started his comeback. Acceptance didn't make the injury disappear, but it gave him power over it. So in order to apply the power of acceptance to your life, start with expect disrespect. Understand that no matter how good you are, someone will always doubt, mock, or underestimate you. Accept it. It's a part of life, not a personal attack. Focus only on what you can control. You can't control what people say, but you can control how you respond. And when you choose to stay calm, you take away their power. Let go instantly. The next time someone disrespects you, don't dwell on it. Remind yourself, this was supposed to happen. By accepting reality, you keep moving forward, while they stay stuck in negativity. When you master acceptance, disrespect no longer affects you, because you expect it, absorb it, and move past it with ease. Disrespect only hurts when you fight against reality. Accept it, and it can never control you again. Principle number 6 is the power of humor, turning disrespect into a weapon of strength. There's an overlooked tool that can instantly diffuse conflict, shift power, and leave your enemies powerless. Humor. Most people believe that responding to disrespect means fighting back or proving themselves. But the truth is, the ability to laugh in the face of disrespect is one of the most powerful weapons you can have. Most people misunderstand humor in conflict. They think making a joke means not taking the situation seriously. But in reality, humor is a sign of supreme confidence. It shows that you are so unfazed by an insult that it doesn't even deserve your anger. Instead of reacting with emotion, you respond with control. Psychological studies show that people who use humor in high-stress situations experience lower cortisol levels, faster emotional recovery, and increased social influence. This is why some of history's most powerful leaders, from Winston Churchill to Theodore Roosevelt, used wit and humor to dismantle their opponents. Take Winston Churchill, for example. He was constantly insulted by political rivals, but instead of getting angry, he used humor to turn the insults back on them. When a woman told him, "If you were my husband, I'd poison your tea," he calmly replied, "Madam, if you were my wife, I'd drink it." With one witty remark, he flipped the dynamic and walked away as the victor without ever raising his voice. So remember to try to turn insults into jokes at your own expense. If someone calls you stupid, smirk and say, "It took me years to get this dumb." This instantly disarms them and removes the sting from their words. Laugh, then move on. A simple chuckle, and that's a good one, can make an aggressor feel foolish for trying to get under your skin. Your lack of offense makes them look weak. Use humor as a shield, not a sword. The goal isn't to destroy the other person, but to show that you are too strong to be brought down by mere words. When you master humor, you show that no one's disrespect has power over you. You forgive instantly, not because you're weak, but because you're untouchable. Disrespect only has power when you take it seriously, laugh at it, and you strip it of all meaning. The seventh principle is the power of active listening, disarming disrespect without saying a word. There's an overlooked skill that can instantly shift the balance of power in any conversation: active listening. Most people think that winning an argument means talking louder, being more aggressive, or proving their point. But the truth is, the most powerful person in the room is the one who listens the most. Most people misunderstand active listening. They think it means just sitting quietly while the other person talks. But in reality, it's a weapon. It means staying fully present, absorbing what's being said, and allowing the other person to expose their own weaknesses, without you having to lift a finger. FBI hostage negotiators use active listening as their primary strategy to defuse life or death situations. Studies show that people are more likely to de-escalate their anger when they feel heard, not when they are argued with. This is why elite negotiators, CEOs, and military leaders all listen more than they speak. Consider Elon Musk, who is known for his ability to pause and process before answering. Instead of instantly reacting to criticism or disrespect, he listens, lets the other person fully reveal their position, and only then responds. This technique makes him appear calm, in control, and highly intelligent. The best way to apply active listening to your life is to use silence as a strategy. When someone disrespects you, resist the urge to interrupt. Instead, let them talk. The more they speak, the more they reveal about themselves. Sometimes, they'll even realize their own mistake without you saying a word. Make people feel heard, but stay in control. Nod slightly, make eye contact, and say things like, "I see," or "go on." This makes them feel like they're being understood while you stay completely composed. Ask questions instead of arguing. If someone is being aggressive, don't fight back. Instead, ask, "Why do you feel that way?" Or, "What makes you think that?" This shifts the pressure onto them, forcing them to explain themselves, which often weakens their argument. When you master active listening, you turn disrespect into an opportunity. You control conversations without forcing them. Disrespect only wins when it pulls you into chaos. Stay silent, stay observant, and let others expose their own weaknesses. The eighth Stoic principle is the power of forgiveness, releasing the weight that holds you back. There's a hidden burden that most people carry without realizing it: resentment. It lingers in the mind like a slow-acting poison, keeping you stuck in the past while convincing you that you are moving forward. Most people misunderstand forgiveness. They think it means excusing the person who disrespected them or pretending it never happened. But in reality, forgiveness is about freeing yourself from the control of the past. It means you no longer allow someone's disrespect to take up space in your mind, because you have more important things to focus on. Neuroscientists have discovered that holding onto grudges increases cortisol production, the stress hormone responsible for anxiety and aging. Studies show that people who practice forgiveness sleep better, have lower blood pressure, and even live longer lives. Resentment isn't just an emotional burden, it's a physical one too. Take Nelson Mandela, for example. After spending 27 years in prison, he had every right to be bitter. But when he was released, he chose forgiveness. Why? Because he knew that hatred would keep him mentally imprisoned, even when he was physically free. His words sum it up best. Resentment is like drinking poison and then hoping it will kill your enemies. So remember, forgive, not for them, but for you. Forgiveness isn't about letting the other person off the hook. It's about removing yourself from the situation emotionally. Letting go of resentment doesn't mean weakness. It means you refuse to let someone else control your energy. Don't attach your identity to past pain. The moment you see yourself as the victim of disrespect, you give power to the person who disrespected you. Instead, rewrite your own story. That experience made me stronger, and now I move forward. Understand that forgetting is not required. You can forgive and still remember what happened. The key is to remember without emotional weight, like recalling an old lesson rather than reliving a past wound. When you stop holding on to resentment, you free up mental space for success, growth, and real happiness. Disrespect may be unavoidable, but carrying its weight is a choice. Master forgiveness, and you'll never be imprisoned by the past again. The ninth and last Stoic principle is the power of restraint. Strength is measured by what you don't do. There's an invisible power that only the most disciplined individuals possess, the ability to hold back when provoked. Most people believe that reacting to disrespect is a sign of strength, that fighting back instantly proves their dominance. But the truth is, true strength is measured by what you don't do, not what you do. Most people misunderstand restraint. They think it means being passive, backing down, or letting others walk over them. But in reality, restraint is the ultimate power move. It means you are so in control of yourself that no insult, no provocation, and no petty challenge can pull you into unnecessary conflict. In studies on elite-level negotiators and military strategists, the most successful individuals had one thing in common. They never reacted emotionally to provocation. The moment you react on impulse, you become predictable. But when you hold back, you become unreadable, untouchable, and far more dangerous. Take LeBron James. Throughout his career, he has been heckled by fans, insulted by critics, and even disrespected by other players. But instead of reacting emotionally, he ignores the noise and stays focused. His philosophy? Why argue when I can just win? His silence in the face of disrespect has made him one of the most respected athletes in history. So remember, let people expose themselves. When someone disrespects you, resist the urge to react. Let them keep talking. The more they speak, the more foolish they look, while you remain composed. Don't give them what they want. People disrespect you because they want a reaction. When you don't give them one, they lose control. Nothing frustrates an aggressor more than a target who won't play their game. Act when it matters, not when you're provoked. If someone crosses a serious boundary, address it on your terms. When you decide, not when they bait you into an emotional reaction. When you master restraint, disrespect stops affecting you because you control yourself, not them. Disrespect only wins when it forces you to react. Stay still, stay calm, and let your silence say everything. Ultimately, disrespect is a test that everyone will have to face an unknown amount of times. Fail it, and you lose control. Pass it, and you rise above. The strongest men are those who cannot be moved by lesser ones. Now, the question is, will you let disrespect define you, or will you define yourself?